Welcome back, sports fans. I'd like to welcome everyone back to another episode of So-Called Experts. Today, I've got to get a few things off my chest. We're going to make it real short today. The one thing I got to talk about that I can't stand personally are the commissioners of today's Major League Sports. We'll start off with the NFL. Roger Goodell. You mean to tell me he has sole power of the whole NFL? If he doesn't like something that's happening, he can make a decision all by himself. That's like giving the President of the United States sole power. And we all know what would have happened if George Bush would have had sole power of this country. So now you give it all to Roger Goodell. I mean, as a Steeler fan, I personally can't stand the guy. You know, James Harrison, Ryan Clark have all come out and criticized him for running his league like a dictatorship. Now with the Saints, you know, you got the bounty program. Just him, you know, when Sean Payton tried to come back in, he doesn't go to a committee. He goes to, you know, the commissioner, Roger Goodell, and Roger Goodell has the final say-so. And then who I personally think is the worst commissioner in all of sports, David Stern. In the NBA, I mean, and I know you Laker fans out there gotta agree with me. How do you take the Chris Paul trade that would have sent him to the Lakers and nullify that? The Hornets right now would have had, I mean, they would have had Odom, Scola, they would have got a first-round pick, they would have had a legitimate team right now. Instead, you send them Eric Gordon, who hasn't played but like 2 games this year for the Clippers. And I think it's because of the new, you know, collective bargaining agreement they just had. You know, obviously he's trying to make it seem like he's not favoring the big market teams. He didn't want Chris Paul to go to the Lakers because he would have got criticized. You know, Mark Cuban was out there criticizing him. So I think he overstepped his boundaries. There was no reason for him to get involved. I don't understand how these guys, the thing that gets me about these guys is they never played a day in their life. So how can someone like Roger Goodell, who's never played football at that level, tell James Harrison not to lower his head or not to, you know, that he could have aimed at his midsection instead of going up high? Those plays are, you know, seconds. They're quick. So Roger Goodell, you're telling me you're an expert and you know exactly that James Harrison was trying to injure someone? Come on, you've never played. David Stern, you seen that guy, right? He looks like this. That guy ain't never played basketball. You know, not even at the gym he's played basketball. Then I'm going to go into, not so bad, but I still don't like the guy, Bud Selig. I mean, the commissioner of baseball. The only thing I got to say about him is, I know all of you guys, or some of you guys have probably heard Ryan Braun, last year's National League MVP, got busted for steroid use at the end of last year, beginning of this year. Now, he got off because of a technicality. What happened was they took his sample, and apparently the guys who drug tested him left his sample overnight or over the weekend at the lab instead of sending it in to get tested right away because it was like a weekend and they couldn't send it out. So because of that, you know, Ryan Braun has a chance of saying that, hey, that could have been tampered with. You know, they didn't follow the procedures right. So because of a technicality, he got off. Now, if any of you guys know, Bud Selig used to be the owner of the Milwaukee Brewers. Now, if you guys can guess which team Ryan Braun plays for? The Milwaukee Brewers. Now, this is all for all you conspiracy theorists out there. Is there a coincidence that Ryan Braun, last year's MVP, got busted for steroids, but yet he got off clean and he plays for the same team that the commissioner of baseball used to own? I'm just saying, coincidence or not coincidence? That's just my thought real quick on these commissioners. I personally can't stand them. If there are any out there that you know of that you like, the only one I like that just hit me right now, Dana White. I mean, I gotta give it to Dana White because what happened to boxing? Boxing used to be the king of the sports. You know, it was literally what sport is. It's head-to-head, toe-to-toe, man versus man, or woman versus women. And it was perfect sport. But greed and, you know, all this just corruption killed boxing. You have one weight class, let's just say, you know, like the lightweight, I don't know, 145 or something. There's like 10 bouts. You can have 10 champions in a division. That makes no sense to me. Dana White cleaned all that up, said, you know what, I'm going to run this league, the UFC, MMA. I'm going to have one champion per division. And not only that, but I'm going to give you fans what you guys want to see. Not like boxing where we've been waiting, I don't know how many years to see Pacquiao Mayweather. We're never going to see it because you have so many promoters and leagues and bouts out there that it's never going to happen. Dana White is going to give the fans what they want to see. So shouts out to Dana White. I love what you're doing with the UFC. Keep it up. We all enjoy your sport. For So-Called Experts, I'm out.